where sometimes God is wanting to bless us with more life, more impact, more joy, but our life is too cluttered to be able to receive it. And so us engaging in trash day and taking out the trash is making room for the sacred blessing that he has for our life. You're showing up, you're doing the work, you're trying to love well, but there's still something that stinks. There's still something that's weighing you down, a funk that you can't quite name. This is our soul's way of letting us know it's trash day. Just as we have to do spring cleaning for our house, sometimes we also have to do spring cleaning for our soul. This past weekend, we were doing some late spring cleaning our garage and getting our home ready for our baby girl who is due in just a few weeks. Over the years, things just piled up in the garage and throughout the house that we didn't think a lot of. It didn't seem a lot at the time, but once we got everything cleaned out, it was a breath of fresh air. That we didn't realize how much was piled up and how much was cluttering our life just over the years. But once we cleaned it out, we were glad that we did it and wish we had did it sooner. And this is often the case in our life and relationships as well, that over time things just pile up and clutter our souls that we're not aware of. And it's time for trash day. It's time to clean things out. Again, we live in a fallen and broken world, and there's no expectation for us to completely remove ourselves from the junk stuff and things of this life. Trash being a part of our life is normal. The problem is not the trash. The problem is what we do with it. And when we don't do anything with it, when we allow it to fester, then it will stink up our whole life. This trash can be rotten emotions, such as bitterness and worry and shame, things that don't bring us life and goodness, but instead weigh us down. Or trash could be expired identities in the sense of here's who we were previously, but this is not who we are today. This is the high school athlete who is still living in his glory days, not in the sense of just walking down memory lane, but living as if that is who he is today versus taking on his new adult identity today. Or this may be the identity that others have placed on us, where you may have lived in a family that expected you to be a doctor, a lawyer, or the like, and you took a different path, and now you're living with the weight, the shame of missing the family expectations. Sometimes the trash is what we consume, or sometimes we're not aware of the news and social media that we consume, how much it pollutes our soul rather than refreshing and nourishing our souls. And so when we're working hard, but we can't yet find the freedom and joy that we long for, it might be because there's a backed up pile of trash still in our life somewhere. And so we must take out the trash. But how do we take out this trash? It's first by naming it. What has been pushed to the dark corners of your soul that you've tried to forget? Is it a habit that no longer serves you well today? A wound that you've tried to bury? Or maybe a relationship or regret that you've not yet dealt with? Once we're able to name it, then we can take it to the curb, as it were. And often this is engaging in the practice of forgiveness, where forgiveness is our not only our responsibility as Christians, but also our means of clearing out our soul, letting go of those things that weigh us down. Unforgiveness is often one of the heaviest things we carry and one of the biggest culprits that clutter up our life. Certainly there's things that people have done to us, wounds that they have inflicted on us, and we have a hard time forgiving those. Forgiving is not saying that it doesn't matter or that there's not consequences to that. We still have to deal with the consequences of it, but forgiveness is saying that I choose to no longer hold this against you. And so in as much as it depends on me, I'm going to choose to be at peace with you and try to restore this relationship. It's not always possible, but in as much as it depends on me, how do I practice forgiveness and find peace and restoration? Sometimes the forgiveness is not just toward the other. Sometimes it may be even more difficult. It's forgiveness that we need to extend toward ourselves. That sometimes it's easier to forgive others because, at least for ourselves, we know all our dark secrets. We know all the private thoughts that we have, and it's harder to get over those things where we can give others the benefit of the doubt. But we need to practice forgiveness to ourselves as well. And so there's a difference between being convicted of our sin and constantly living in self-condemnation. And so when we have sin, when we've done wrong, that we need to acknowledge the wrong, do what we can to make it right, and then live in freedom. Moving toward true freedom often is not just in naming and letting go of things, but sometimes it's processing what we've been through in order to get things moving again. And we can process the hurt, the pain, the trash in our life by working it out, writing it out, or talking it out. Working it out is a physical and an embodied expression. It might be simply getting outside and literally getting a breath of fresh air or enjoying the sunshine. Or it might be going for a run or working out in the gym. Or I've had some guys who have engaged in martial arts where, again, there's a way in which they can take that pent up energy and express it in some physical way. Writing it out is the practice of journaling and getting the thoughts from inside of our head, inside of our soul, outside on paper. This is a practice that I've particularly found helpful for me over the years. I started it several years ago when there was a death on the job, and I had a hard time processing that. But as I started journaling, I found a level of freedom about putting my thoughts, my feelings onto paper, allowed me to find peace again as it relates to that situation. And then talking it out is connecting with our trusted others to process relationally as well. Ideally, we do a combination of all three of these: working it out, writing it out, and talking it out. Where sometimes if we just try to work it out, just a physical expression, sometimes we're not connecting that with what's actually going on in our inner world. And so our workout becomes more of a distraction, more of a way to numb ourselves rather than actually dealing with the internal world of our heart. But if we're just writing it, sometimes we can get too introspective and go down in a dark, deep hole that we can't pull ourselves out of. And this is where talking it out helps to then have someone, a trusted other, who can help us stay connected to the light. And so if we're going off into left field, they're able to bring us back to keep us grounded and centered into the light. But some combination of all three is generally our way of processing the junk, the stuff, the things, the trash that we need to get rid of in our life and to eventually let them go and to live in freedom. But the point here is not simply to name and forgive and process our trash to get rid of it. There's a place to put off, but we're also putting off in order to make room to put on the life, the goodness, the impact that God has for us. Where sometimes God is wanting to bless us with more life, more impact, more joy, but our life is too cluttered to be able to receive it. And so us engaging in trash day and taking out the trash is making room for the sacred blessing that He has for our life. And so make today trash day. Take it out. Enjoy a breath of fresh air and enjoy the fullness of life and goodness that God has for you. Let me know in the comments, what is one piece of soul trash that you need to take out today? If this resonates with you, then like, subscribe, and share with other men who might need help clearing out their trash as well. In the meantime, check out this next video on a surprising lesson that I learned about masculinity and vaginismus and our importance of being able to not just only take out the trash, but being able to receive the love of God. Check that out here.